From the Cap City, Columbus, Ohio, good morning, good evening, wherever you may be across the nation, around the world. I'm George Norrie, and welcome to Coast AM. Next hour, of course, later on, those special open lines. I'm in Columbus, Ohio, by the way. Tomorrow I'm speaking at the Journey Expo. Full details at our coasttocoastam.com website. Here's what's happening. I even checked, and I've got this in all the chemicals and the soap. It's a chemical that's been used in U.S. households for more than 40 years. From the body wash in your bathroom shower to the knives on your kitchen counter to even the bedding in your baby's bassinet. Federal health regulators are now just deciding whether triclosan, the germ-killing ingredient found in an estimated 75% of antibacterial liquid soaps and body washes sold all throughout the United States, is ineffective or, even worse, harmful to your health. The Food and Drug Administration is planning to deliver a review this year of whether triclosan is safe, the ruling which will determine whether this chemical continues to be used in household cleaners. We'll keep our eyes on that for you. North Korea, as it advances in nuclear technology, it is moving the country closer to its goal of being able to strike the United States with an atomic weapon. That, according to a new Pentagon report submitted to Congress. Though the unclassified version of the report gave no timetable for when North Korea may have the ability to hit North American soil with a weapon, it did say recent progress is in line with the country's desire to soon be able to carry out such an attack. By the way, there have been 46,455 background checks every day for gun purchases since President Obama was reelected. 46,455, according to the FBI. Employment rising more than expected in April, pushing the unemployment rate to a four-year low of 7.5%. They say it could help ease concerns of a slowdown in the economy. Registered investment advisor Mish Shedlock with us. Mish, does this mean things are getting better?
George, has anyone bothered to look at the numbers behind the numbers rather than they just reported? The payrolls rose 165,000. I went out and I dug through, and these are government reported numbers, so I'm not making these things up, but part-time employment rose by 441,000 jobs this month. Average weekly hours fell 0.2 to 34.4 hours, and average weekly earnings dropped because people are working fewer hours. We've talked about this before. I've traced this back to, the Obamacare law that said part-time employment begins at 30 hours, not what it used to be, 34. So companies are reducing the number of hours that people work to make up for the hours that people are working. They're hiring more workers. So, we can look at this. We can look at this number. The establishment survey said 165,000. The household survey said 293. But the household survey also said 441,000.
So you are not convinced. You're not convinced, Mish, that things are getting rosier.
George, I'm wondering, what are the readers telling you? What do you see? Do things seem to be getting better for the average person, or does things seem to be getting better for the person that has assets?
That's exactly right. What's happening is the person with the assets, whether they're big investors, they are the ones that are buying things. Las Vegas, for example, I'm told the housing market is booming because investors are buying the houses, not the common person, not the middleman.
That's right. That's exactly what's happening. The Fed has managed to build another housing bubble here with people flipping houses, not that the average person can buy, not that the average person has a job that can afford to buy. They've bailed out Wall Street. The average guy on the street's suffering, George.
You got it, Mish. Thank you so much. The suicide rate among middle-aged Americans rose 28% in a decade. This according to a new report from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Among adults 35 to 64, Caucasian people and American Indians saw the sharpest increases from 1999 to 2010. The CDC did not investigate causes behind the trend, but noted many suicide prevention programs are geared towards younger people and the elderly and not this other middle-aged bracket. Psychiatrist Dr. Peter Bragan with us. Peter, that's still staggering numbers. 28% increase in suicides.
Yeah, I want to go and drill down a little more into the data. It's a 40% increase in whites. Whites usually have more suicides by 3 to 1, and men have more suicides than women by more than 3 to 1. So we're looking at middle-aged white men as the group that's really getting slammed. And I think that's the group that we can look at economically as being very hard hit. Oh, and by the way, the age group that's the most hit is the upper end, 50 to 64. That age group had nearly half the suicides. That's a whole new pattern. So we've got age 50 to 64, 40% increase in whites, white men who are getting older. And I think it has a lot to do with what we were talking about, what you were talking about with your previous guest. I think it has to do with the fact that the economy is much worse than it looks. We know that suicide follows economic cycles.
Yeah, that's
very,
true.
Very clearly. The Great Depression had the highest rates ever, and the bigger slump since then has had high rates. And now we're into another that has very high rates. And your guest mentioned that, people are working fewer hours, they're working more jobs. We also have created more people on disability in the last 4 years than jobs. More people on disability. They're not counted in the unemployment rate. And we've got, as I'm sure you know, over 7 million people during this time have dropped out of the workforce entirely. So I think people are giving up. We're seeing the hopelessness in terms of disability, because people don't want to go on disability. They do it when they feel hopeless, angry, frustrated. We're seeing it in terms of people dropping out of the workforce. And I think it's really hitting for the first time this age group of older and in particular white men. I think it's a very economic issue. It also, I think, has something to do with the rise of psychiatric drug use during this period of time, but I don't think that's by anywhere near close to the impact that this economy has.
I think you're right, Peter. You're spot on that one. Metal guitarist Jeff Hanneman, founding member of the rock band Slayer, has died at the age of 49. A statement of the band's Facebook page said Hanneman died of liver failure in California. They are best known for Raining Blood. Now, since 2011, Hanneman had been suffering from a flesh-eating disease that he is believed to have contracted from a spider bite as well. Jeez. By the way, over in Turkey, you cannot, if you're a stewardess, a flight attendant, you cannot wear red lipstick and nail polish on planes. They are changing all the laws there for that. In a moment, Dr. Evelyn Paglini joins me. We are going to be talking about her insights into the world. She's the Good Witch. And next on Coast to Coast AM. And welcome back to Coast. I'm George Norrie. And, of course, one of our favorite guests of all times, Dr. Evelyn Paglini, parapsychologist, one of the leading authorities on the occult, the supernatural. Evelyn began learning natural magic from her grandfather at the age of 4. She's extremely psychic, and this is time to bring her in on Coast to Coast AM. Evelyn, how are you?
I am doing terrific. How are you doing?
I'm good. Good to hear your voice.
Thank you so much.
So many things have been going on worldwide that we all got together in a little powwow and said it's time to get Dr. Paglini back on the program and get her insights, not only as the good witch, but as the parapsychologist and what's going on. And Evelyn, do you feel like this whole world is topsy-turvy right now?
Absolutely. We're entering into, unfortunately, a cycle that I call a mini cycle of the cleansing of Earth. And so with this cycle, honey, you're going to have, unfortunately, and it's already started, we're going to have one of the hottest killer heat waves that we have had in a long time. We're also going to have fires that we have not had the likes of which in decades. And I'm talking fires in several states where hundreds of thousands of acres as well as destruction is going to be happening. It's already started here early in California. We've got 7 fires going, and this is May. They normally don't get this until August. And so to me, I'm very, very worried about this killer heat wave, all right, these massive fires that are going on. You're also going to be having some flooding. Now, this flooding is not only in Florida, all right, but it's also up the East Coast. And I'm worried about earthquakes in Japan.
Oh, boy.
I'm worried about, and again, it's going to affect that nuclear plant.
Fukushima, yeah.
Yes, and I'm also worried, okay, about earthquakes in Mexico, earthquakes in California, both north and south, and I'm worried about one in the Middle East. Now, there's one that's coming down the pike. It's not soon, but it is dangerous. George, I feel that there's going to be a massive earthquake in the Middle East around Israel. And I mean,
that could be a disaster there.
Yeah. Now, I don't feel it's soon, but I keep getting a glimpse of it, and it's horrendous when it happens. So I am looking for 6, 7, 7s and better as far as earthquakes are concerned. Now, you're going to also notice tornadoes, and some will be F4s. You're going to have more tornadoes than you have ever seen. They will be more intense, and they will be a lot more destructive. So we are going through globally a mini cleansing.
What's causing the cleansing, Evelyn? Why is the planet seems to be rebelling so much?
Well, I deal with the elements of earth, air, wind, and fire when I open up my altar, and I've noticed the increased intensity of them. And it's almost like there is a rage that is being unleashed for some reason, like the planet is out of balance. And so therefore what it's doing is trying to correct itself. But in so doing, there's going to be tragedy. And people need to be prepared. The only thing
Evelyn,
I see that's positive out of it is there's going to be so much rebuilding and construction because of the destruction that it will give carpenters and builders, okay, an opportunity for a lot of work because there will be so much that will have to be replaced and repaired.
So through the catastrophe, you see some possibilities here of some kind of economic stimulus.
Yes. Yeah, the wrong way to do it, but
The
yes.
wrong way. Evelyn, we've got an earthquake expert who thinks something major is going to happen on the West Coast in the California area. You live out that way. I've been there and stay out there a lot. What do you see?
I agree. I agree. Not only northern, but southern California, and I'm expecting better than a 6, 6, 7.
Well, in a populated area, that could be huge, huh?
Yes, it could.
World events, the possibilities of war, Iran, North Korea. What do you see?
As far as North Korea is concerned, this person is out of his mind. And sooner or later, and I do mean later, he is going to pull off something that is going to pull us in. There's no two ways about it. I just don't feel it's soon. I feel he's still going to rattle his saber, back off, but he's buying time. This is a very, very dangerous man in a very dangerous country, and we will have to face them someday. But don't forget, babe, we still have a hotbed, all right, in the Middle East.
Yeah, we do, in all areas there, and that hasn't gone away, and it's probably not going to go away.
No, it's a powder keg waiting to happen, and somebody's going to trigger it. The only thing you can do, okay, is to mentally try to put harmony and compassion and understanding so that the people will think before they make a foolish move.
One might say, look, I can't control everything that's going on worldwide, but I can control my own destiny, my family. What do you recommend people do, Evelyn?
First of all, listen to their instincts. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be told through meditation, through voices, that they need to move out of the city or maybe out of the state in order to save themselves financially or economically. Others will be told that they have to start a new business, all right, because what is out there, they are not getting the job. Or if they get an offer, it's for $25,000 or $30,000 less than they were making. You know, you had a person on earlier that was talking about the older generation. He
Yes.
is so on the money. All people who have been hitting the 50-year-old mark forward, let's say you've been out of work, all right, you're going to be the last one to find a job. And 40% of the 50-year-olds out of work, when they do find a job, will have to be at least $20,000 less than they were making. Therefore, their lifestyle changes because they're the ones that had the mortgage. They're the ones with the kids in college. All of that is not going to be able to be paid. And so their lifestyle will never be the same, and they can't pay catch-up.
And that pressure, Evelyn, on them, I think causes some of them to do what we were just talking about with Dr. Bregan, and that was the increased rates of suicide. They probably think this is their only way out.
Yes, it is. And hopefully tonight, babe, we're going to show them, thanks to you and Art Bell and Coast to Coast, you have conditioned your audience to believe in the power of the mind.
Yes.
Thank God that you and Art Bell did mass consciousness and you saw the results. And you have a prayer group going that is getting phenomenal results. So your audience is going to get it easier than any other audience out there because they've been informed. They've been exposed to the power of the mind. Well, what we're going to do today is we're going to bring it on home. Okay, we're going to bring it specifically to you. Well, I do consultations all over the world, and what I've been hearing lately especially is money. People are worried about money, about finances, about keeping a job, about staying even. They're scrambling. They're hanging on by their fingernails. Well, what I want to show them is through meditation and visualization and a little bit of ritual, they can change their luck around. They can attract good fortune. They can get that job or that promotion or open that business or get that insight. And I put it as simple as possible, George. I made the technique so easy to follow, something that is not going to take them a long time to learn, something that is not going to take them a long time to get results, but they will get results. And the reason why, and I'd like your audience, those who don't have a computer, I suggest they get a paper and pencil.
Perfect.
All right?
That's
but those
the time.
who have a computer.
And also, we definitely have to talk with you tonight about candles and how powerful they are in people's lives, Evelyn.
Thank you. I would love to. Well, what I want them to do is go to mysticalblend.com, and I want them to check out ritual packages. And I want them to look for a ritual that is called Ritual to Attract Good Luck as your companion.
Everybody could use that ritual.
No kidding. That's why I said I've gotten so many emails and phone calls. Evelyn, what can we do that's easy? It's not going to take a long time, but it's going to give me the results I need. And this is the one I put together. It's going to take a little bit of time, but not much considering the results.
All right. Hold on, Evelyn. We're going to come right back with you. We're going to get into that visualization, how you can use magic to help yourself. I'm George Norrie. 2 hours with Dr. Evelyn Paglini tonight. We'll be back in a moment on Coast to Coast AM. I'm in Columbus, Ohio, getting ready for tomorrow's The Journey Expo, where I'll meet many Coast to Coast listeners, hosting a panel and a meet and greet, and just looking forward to this. I flew from St. Louis, leaving a rainstorm that had started last night and just isn't ending. But in Columbus, the weather is simply gorgeous. And welcome back to Coast. George Norrie with you, Dr. Evelyn Paglini with us as well. Evelyn, these rituals and the one you wanted us to look at mysticalblend.com. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Well, first of all, the reason why I put this one together is I've been hearing from a lot of people that they've been in a negative cycle for more than 8 or 9 months. They have something blocking or they have something stopping them. And then there are others that are just struggling along, just making ends meet, hanging on by their fingernails. And so today I put together a ritual. First, what I want to do is to do a cleansing on a person, to remove any negativity, anything that's been blocking and stopping them. And so they would get a plain black image candle, which is a wax candle about 8 inches tall, in the gender of the subject they're working on, whether they're working on themselves or whether they're working on, like a mother working on their son or their daughter. And the foundation, for this ritual is to remove the negativity, and then the green image candle in the same gender is to attract good fortune, good luck, prosperity, better business. It comes, with 2 essential oils. It comes with a cleansing oil that's only used on the black image candle. And then there is a caviar oil, which can be replaced by better business, money, fast luck, attraction. And that is going to attract to you, money and success and wealth, or that job or that career, opening that business. And you're going to receive an herb, and that herb can be either aldo root or angelica root. And this can be placed around the image candle as well as in your home. The ritual doesn't take a long time. It's not something that you have to take years of practice to learn. I made this as simple as possible, but the results will be there. Now, the most important thing, George, is a foundation. And that foundation is meditation and visualization. That is something that you really do have to acquire. I wish everyone out there would learn meditation and visualization because it has so many benefits, not just for ritual, but for your everyday life. It removes anxiety, pressure, tension, and stress, which we know is a killer.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look what happened when we talked about the suicide rate earlier, Evelyn. It's all over the place.
Yes, it is. And beside that, you can learn through meditation and visualization how to heal the body. And that's when you're using that for the healing of the body, the easiest way. I have 2 techniques for you. This one, is very quick. What you do is you're going to use a white image candle because you're going to be dealing with healing of the body. You're going to use the meditation and the visualization to create a workshop of the mind where you are going to mentally visualize yourself healing. In other words, you're going to acknowledge what is wrong, what is in pain, what is giving you discomfort or dis-ease. Once you acknowledge it, now we're going to dissolve it. We're going to remove it. And so the workshop of the mind can be brought into a hospital room where you can call the greatest minds and doctors of the world in order to assist you in healing that body. And another technique that is excellent for meditation and visualization is how to communicate with your spirit guides. I've had so many of my clients call me and write me and tell me, Evelyn, I have trouble, communicating with my spirit guides. Is there any technique out there that I can use where I can get some quick results? Well, yes, there is. Once again, it's back to meditation and visualization, but it's easy and it's fast. All you have to do is create this great, big, beautiful, empty room that has in one wall built in a cylindrical elevator, one that opens from the top to the bottom. What I want you to do is I want you in your mind, in your visualization, to create this room as comfortable as possible. In other words, put in a fireplace, put in furniture, put in rugs. Make it your workshop, your comfortable room.
And it doesn't have to be that expensive, right?
No, this is all in your mind.
Ah.
This is a mental workshop that you have created.
So you don't go out and do it, you just think it.
That's right. And as you think it, you are creating this room. This room in your mind is going to be where you are going to have a workshop. Yeah, like I said, put the wonderful furniture in, put in the wonderful rugs, the lamps, make it cozy and comfortable. And then I want you to put in one big cozy armchair that has control buttons on it. And then I want you to put in two smaller but just as ornate chairs to sit on each side. Once you have been satisfied with the room you have created, now I want you to sit in that chair and I want you to push that red button on the control panel. You will notice that the cylindrical elevator will start to descend very slowly. But as it descends, the outline, the form of your female spirit guide will start to present itself. Once the elevator door has completely hit the bottom, that female guide will step out. You are to get out of the chair. You are to walk to her, introduce yourself to her, both your first and your last name, ask her what she wishes to be called, and then bring her to one of the chairs. Close the elevator door and spend a few minutes getting to know this spirit guide and how she is going to be able to inspire you, how she's going to be able to guide you, to help you to make choices, to give you inspiration, encouragement. After you have spent a few minutes, close that elevator door, and then once again, hit that button. Allow that cylindrical elevator to open. As it descends, you're going to be receiving your male spirit guide. Do the same thing. Get off the chair. Go introduce yourself, first and last name. Ask what he wishes to be called. Bring him to the other chair. Sit down and get to know him. If you do this, now some people have gotten their spirit guides the first time they tried it. Others, it took 3 or 4 nights. That's why you spend a lot of time in furnishing the room and making it comfortable, because it gives it more solidity. And so that when you're bringing in your spirit guides, they too come in, a lot more solid, a lot stronger. And here's where you can really get some insight. You can improve your intuition. You can raise your consciousness. There is so much that is available to you once you have the ability to communicate with your spirit guides. And this is a very quick, satisfying, result-driven technique.
And you can see the results right away then, can't you?
Oh, yeah. That's why I made it as simple as possible. No big ritual, no big ceremony.
Well, and the fact that we don't have to go out and build the room, we can have all at it and do whatever we want with it, can't we?
That's the idea, making it as comfortable, as secure, as safe as possible. So that this is the workshop of the mind, and the only person that is allowed in is that which you bring.
Is it okay, Evelyn, to ask spirit guides what you want, whatever it may be?
Yes. If they can, they're not going to do the work for you, but they'll give you insight. They'll give you guidance. They'll give you inspiration. And that's what it's all about. They're not there to do the job for you, honey, but they are helping you make the choices. They are going to heighten your intuition. They're going to raise your consciousness.
How long does that process last? This entire meditation, thinking of the room, bringing the spirit guides in?
I'll tell you, it doesn't take long. If you're a good visualization person, you can do this within 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
No.
It's worth an experiment. It's worth trying.
The stronger that you make that room, the more alive it is, okay, the more comfortable it is. When your spirit guides come, you're going to be so surprised with all of the information and all of the guidance that you're going to be able to get. And you can do this at any time of the day or night. You can drop down to your meditative levels in minutes. And you can create so much. I just hit the tip of the iceberg with meditation. But when you're doing it in ritual, please, anyone can do this ritual. This is not something that you have to be a master practitioner in order to accomplish. And it doesn't take long. Now, what do I mean by that? When you're new in magic, you cannot hold your focus like a laser beam for any length of time. So if you can give a half an hour to 45 minutes per day when you are not going to be interrupted, when you're going to have enough energy, this is not a long period of time. There are those practitioners like myself that can do 2.5 hours. That does take time.
That's. I mean, when do you see results, Evelyn?
You can see results almost immediately. Once the ritual is completely burned down. Now remember, we're starting out, first of all, with removing negativity, what's blocking and stopping you. And so that's what you're going to do. And by the way, sir, the instructions to this entire ritual is up on the Mystical Blend website, and we'll be there for 30 days. And so
is this like magic, Evelyn? Would you call this magic?
Oh, yes. Oh, very definitely yes. Because what you're going to be incorporating is not only your mind, which is so powerful, tapping into the divine spark within you, but you're also going to incorporate other tools that are going to be there to assist you. And these tools are from nature as well as the elements. So after you have consecrated in your first and last name or the subject's first and last name, okay, the black image candle with the cleansing oil, you will be ready now to drop down into that meditative state. And a good technique to remove negativity and what's blocking and stopping you is to visualize yourself like as if you have fallen into mud. Okay, and it's all baked and caked on you. I mean, all the grudge, all the slime. You can smell it. You can feel the weight of it. You can barely move your legs in it. That is going to represent all of the evil, all of the negativity, everything that's blocking and stopping you. And what you're going to do after you have visualized yourself with all of that baked and caked on mud, now you're going to step into a shower. And you, for the next half an hour to 45 minutes, are going to scrub-a-dub-dub. Okay, you are going to see all of that slime and that grease and that gook and that grime start to fall off, ooze off, flake off, and swirl down the drain. Now,
never to be seen again.
Pardon me?
Never to be seen again.
That's right. And in that 45 minutes to a half an hour, you are going to scrub every inch of your body, every strand of your hair. And you are going to, at the end of that half an hour to 45 minutes, you are going to mentally see yourself baby clean and baby smooth. You know, like smelling like lavender and glowing like sunshine. Now, you're going to do this every single night until that candle is completely burned. One thing about candles, whether they're tapirs, votives, soldiers, or image candles, they will talk to you. If you see that the flame of the candle is burning high and hot and heavy, that means you're getting through. You're making it happen. But if that flame is barely lit, barely staying alive, that means you're meeting with big resistance. And you might have to pull in more energy, more power in order to knock down those walls that are blocking and stopping you.
I've seen some candles, maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches of a flame, and then others are very small and flickery.
That's the reason. Meeting with resistance, the flame barely stays alive. When you're making it through, when you're powering through, that's when that flame is high and that candle's burning like crazy. So again, how long will it take? I don't know. Some people can only do a half an hour and they start to lose concentration. They need to snuff out the candle, open their eyes. If they can go longer and still hold that focus like a laser beam, then by all means, do 45 minutes, do an hour, but you must be in front of that candle at all times. And also make sure you put something under it to catch the wax.
That's a
now,
good point.
once that black candle is completely burning, usually by the third day, you start to feel weight taken off of your shoulders. Okay, you start to feel an empowerment coming in.
It should be working by then, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You might get a little agita. You might get a little bit of queasiness in the stomach, especially if this negativity has been around a long time. It's momentary. It doesn't last long. But by the time you are done with this ritual, you are empowered. You feel the difference. It's like, move over, world, I'm coming through. Now, once that's done, I want you to take the night off. Take a rest. Because the following night is when you're going to do the green candle for good fortune. Same thing. You're going to consecrate it in the same way.
And you have to go in that order, I take it, right?
Oh, yeah, because it's like putting on a brand new suit and not taking a shower. You take the shower first before you put on new clothes. That's the cleansing before you try to attract the money. This way it doesn't have an uphill climb.
Okay, so once we go into the green, that's the
now
home
we are
run.
attracting good fortune, luck, prosperity, better business. Like I said, that job, closing that business deal, opening that business. Anything that has to do with money, finances, and good luck is what you are concentrating on. Now, the key to this is you must do it with emotion. In other words, see it all in action. See yourself getting the job. See yourself getting your first check. See yourself going to the bank and cashing that check. See yourself paying the bills. Seeing yourself help your family, your loved ones, your friends. See it in action. Every single night before you snuff out the candle, you must see that you have won your desired goal. You've gotten the job, opened the business, sold the house, whatever it is. Each and every night before you snuff out the candle, you must see it in its completion in your favor.
More, Evelyn, when we come back. Plus, we'll take some phone calls with you on Coast to Coast AM. With Evelyn Paglini with us tonight on Coast to Coast AM, and we're going to finish up talking with her about the green candle and what it does, and we'll take your calls right here on Coast to Coast AM. And welcome back to Coast. Dr. Evelyn Paglini with us. We're going to take your calls in just a moment. Evelyn, let's get back to the green candle here, which to me seems like it's one of the most important ones, isn't it?
Certainly, because now that you have removed what's blocking and stopping you, you can attract good fortune and good luck. It is your intent that is so specific and necessary. Do not divide your energy. In other words, if you're going for a job, then keep the mind on getting the job. Don't say, I want a new car, and I want a new love, and I want a new house. That's dividing the energy. What you're doing is focusing your attention and your visualization in action into bringing into the physical plane of existence what you desire, and that must be specific.
It must be specific. The visualization is so critical then to all of this.
Yes, it is.
What happens if you don't visualize? Nothing? It just won't work for you?
What you'll get is half-ass.
Well, you don't want that.
See, you won't get its completion. You'll get to the door, but you won't get the job, or you'll get the second interview, or it'll get close. And that's only because you have not seen it fulfilled. Remember what I told you? Cash the check, pay the bills,
right?
Buy the new car. Every single session that you do, you must do this. You must be the winner in the end. You must be getting what you want, where you're helping yourself, your family, your loved ones, and your friends. And once again, George and Coast to Coast, I want to thank you for having me around the last 15 years, because you have helped practitioners of magic in the thousands come to magic. And with that, okay, not only have they come to magic, but several hundred of them have become spiritual warriors like me. They will fight evil wherever they can find it. And I'm so proud of them because they really have put themselves out there.
If you're fighting evil.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. If you're fighting evil, Evelyn, what are the chances that they'll break you down? The demons or whatever they may be?
Well, depending on what you're dealing with. I mean, you've got people who have got evil around them that have been sent to them by a curse. Some have even had generational curses. And there are ways of removing that. And that's called psychic self-defense. So, yes, anything that is going negative, anything that is going wrong, any evil person or practitioner that has, let's say, put you under psychic attack, you have an answer, and it can be removed. And you don't have to join a club, a group, a society, a coven, okay, and wait for them to teach you. I'm giving you the power in your hands. That knowledge is never going to be taken from you. And so anytime you come across negativity or evil or an entity that is harmful, you will be able to get rid of it.
Perfect. Let's take some calls west of the Rockies, Drexen in Vernal, Utah. Welcome to the program. You're on with Dr. Paglini. Go ahead, Drexen.
Hey, how's it going? I'm a long-time follower of the show. I have a question for Dr. Paglini. I was just recently discharged from the Marines. And I had an experience there where one night on fire watch, me and my buddies, we went to the bathroom, and I found one of my buddies. He actually killed himself. He hung himself in the bathroom.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
And when we found him, his eyes were open and everything like that, and he almost had a look on his face like he was looking back at us, but it wasn't him. It was something else. And then ever since then, me and my friend, we've had this weird energy type following us, and we've had nightmares about this thing, and both me and him had the same dreams where this kid, it's like it's a replay of the thing, but when he turns around, when his body turns around hanging there, when he looks at us, it's not his face, but it's our face on there. And I was wondering if you had any tips or anything like that where we could
Is
cleanse
this
ourselves
happening?
from this, or
Is this happening in your home a lot?
Just usually when I sleep, like during the night.
Okay, what's happening, honey, is you're getting night attacks. And so to me, you have an entity that is making itself known either through dreams or through nightmares or just permeating the space that you are in with negative energy. If you will go to mysticalblend.com and take a look at psychic self-defense, that's what you need. Because that will remove that negativity, send it on its way, and change the environment around you. Then you'll be able to sleep properly. You'll be able to revitalize and rejuvenate the body. My suggestion, sir, beside doing the psychic self-defense, get yourself some protection oil and use that protection oil on the headboard of your bed. Draw a 7 or 8 inch circle and then put a cross in the center of that circle using the protection oil. State out loud and firmly, there is no evil or negativity, that can stay within these walls. And there is no negativity or evil, that can cross this barrier. And so therefore, nothing and no one will be able to attack you while you are asleep at night. You can also do the inside and the outside of your bedroom door, the inside and the outside of your home. And I would suggest whether you have just moved into a home or you have been there a while, you should do a cleansing with a smudge stick because you don't know what the occupants of that place went through before you moved in.
Right.
And if you're sensitive, you're going to pick up on it.
Why do they say use sage, Evelyn?
Because it is a purification. There are different types of sage. I prefer the silver sage for protection and cleansing. I have heard many times your guests talk about saging, but I've never heard them explain how to sage.
Right.
Most people don't realize that when you're dealing with either a negative energy or an energy, when you are smudging, not only are you fanning the smoke and you're going from room to room with every cabinet, every closet open, you must have every window and door closed except one in the back of the house. There you open up a window about 3 or 4 inches. As you start from the front and you start smudging, that energy is going to want to escape from you. So every room that you cleanse, it's moving. And as you run out of the rooms and cleanse them, you're going to start to feel a pressure on you because it doesn't know where to go. It wants to escape you. And what you're doing is you're moving all of that negative energy. You're moving that negative entity toward that back room and that window. When you get to the back room, you're going to go the long way around of smudging toward the window, pushing everything toward that open window. Then you're going to smudge the window, close the window, and smudge it again. Now your house has cleansed. Now you can put in the energies and the vibrations and the colors that you desire to harmonize your home. But every person should do a cleansing of their apartment or their home because you don't know what the occupants went through. Desperation, crisis, bankruptcy, sickness, divorce. You don't want that energy permeating.
Toxic.
And it does stay within the walls. It's toxic.
Let's go to Joe, Omaha, Nebraska, east of the Rockies. Joe, you're on with Dr. Paglini. Go ahead.
Good morning.
Morning, Joe.
Good morning.
Glad to talk with you. I'm got a question for you, and I got a little statement for George there. I'm one of your 50-year-old persons. A few months ago, I was trying to kill myself.
Oh, boy, Joe.
And I was in the same spot that a lot of these people are in, where the pressures of life and losing a job and having to go on disability just really gets to you. But my question for the good doctor there is, how does smells like incense burning and flowery smells like lilacs and stuff, how much does that play in the...
Oh, it plays a major... Essential oils, honey, are not only wearable, okay, and when you want to wear them, you put them on the forehead, the throat, the heart, and the solar plexus, which are your main chakras, and that raises that vibration. But you can use essential oils. And let's say you have a business. You can put it on your cash register, your counter. You can put it on your telephone. You can put it on the product you're selling. You can put a traction oil on your business front door, on the home that you want to sell. You can use essential oils and help the healing process. So go to mysticalblend.com. Take a look at essential oils. I have a list up there, and I've given all of the different reasons and uses for these oils. They are tools to assist you.
All right, Joe. And Joe, let me ask you this question too. When you said that you were at that point where you were so depressed, I know you have a statement here for me or a question. What pulled you out of it? I mean, you seem to be at least going in the right direction. What happened?
My brother and some friends intervened and got me the help that I needed spiritually, and it just really changed my life.
Good. Excellent.
Would you say you're 100% back, or how close are you to being where you'd feel happy and satisfied again?
I'm probably about 80% there.
Good for you.
I've got some medical problems and that have led me to a disability, and I've been used to working all my life. And
what is your disability, sir?
I've got breathing problems, and my lungs are failing, and I've got they're doing more tests, but they believe I've got a tumor in my brain.
Oh. But try the workshop of the mind. Put in a hospital room. Bring in the greatest minds that have a test to the disease or the conflicts that you're having, and have them work on you in that hospital room. It is a mental visualization technique that works.
It does. Joe, did you have anything else?
No, just that if there's anybody else out there thinking about it, get some help.
All right, Joe, and we're always here for you all the time. You know, Evan, can you imagine, Evelyn, how many people you have helped in your career? My gosh.
Babe, I have gotten so many testimonials and people that I have touched and I have reached, and I'm so happy to share the knowledge that I have. Most people went into magic to intimidate, to subjugate, to control. And what I've done is I think I've leveled the playing field. I put more people out there that are out there to help others and to stop the victimization of others. And that's thanks to you and Coast to Coast.
We try. Let's go to Bridget, Manchester, New Hampshire. Welcome to the program, Bridget. You're on with Dr. Paglini.
Good morning. How are you both?
Good.
Good morning.
Blessings to you both. George, I have to say thank you to you and team, what you do for us all, the information you bring. I have learned so much. I'm a little nervous, so you have to bear with me.
Thank you, Bridge. Appreciate it.
Dr. Evelyn, I have a question. What do you know about animals, like dreaming of animals? How much do you know about that?
You're talking about having a dream about an animal?
Yeah.
sometimes an animal will come to warn you, to protect you. And so depending on the dream, I've seen so many animals take on the disease of their owners and give up their life for their owner.
Wow.
And so animals, babe, are very sympathetic and empathetic to their masters.
Okay, because I have one, and I dream of certain animals, but this one, it shows up, and it's the only one I see its face, and it's got human eyes, but it's the whole rest of the body. It's a polar bear, and I don't know why he comes to me. I can't. I try to meditate on him.
He may be coming as a totem. In other words, he may be your spirit guide. He may be the powerhouse you can tap into when you need strength, when you need energy, when you need power. And so he's presenting himself as a totem saying, tap into me, I'm here.
Right. I try to meditate. I try to, go back to sleep and try to meditate and see if he can come back into my dreams. But he shows up when he decides to, I guess. It's nothing I can conjure up or...
Yeah, but make sure you have a journal next to your bed so that you can write down the impressions and the scenes, okay, and the inspiration that he's giving you. You will find that there will be so much insight given to you by him. And like I said, when you need power, when you need strength and stamina and courage, call upon him. He'll be more than happy to show up for you.
Okay. Is there any way that anyone can contact you? Do you have a number or do you have a website?
I think through your website.
The
Go ahead.
website is mysticalblend.com, and my phone number is 818-700-9345.
Why don't you give that again, Ev?
818-700-9345. Oh, and by the way, beside the free instructions, I'm also going to give a 1/8 ounce essential oil free for every order, no matter how small it is. That's my gift to the customers of the Coast to Coast audience.
Evelyn, the colors of the candles, why are the colors so important?
All colors have a vibration, a force, and an energy. And so what you are doing is picking the color that is going to most represent what you're trying to accomplish. If you're trying to attract a loved one, then you're going to be using the color of red because you need to stimulate the libido. But if you want to take that relationship and bring it into love, then you're going to use love as pink because pink is love and harmony. Green is money, wealth, success, and growth. White is for purity, balance, protection, healing. Brown is for grounding, anchoring, strengthening. Okay? Your black, again, is to remove or to send a negativity. And so the colors are representative of what you are trying to do. And then, of course, the appropriate oils, okay, that complement what you are trying to accomplish is
They're
also
important,
necessary.
too. Evelyn, we're going to take this break. We're going to come back and take final phone calls with you in just a moment on Coast to Coast AM. Well, next hour, I'll have open lines for you here on Coast to Coast AM, but when we come back with Dr. Evelyn Paglini, we shall take final phone calls with her on Coast to Coast AM. And welcome back, Dr. Evelyn Paglini with us. Evelyn, we, as you mentioned, do prayer on Fridays for people. They send me an email about an affliction of a friend, themselves, an animal, and it does have an uncanny ability to work. What is doing it? Are we tapping into something? Is it the collective consciousness? What makes it work?
Exactly what I was talking about. When you're doing it on a mass consciousness basis, you're only doing it for a few minutes. When you're doing a ritual, you are bringing it specifically on home. You are focusing your mind like a laser beam, and you're being very specific on what it is you are asking for. You're also knowing to bind down the action not wanted. That's why when we were doing the mass consciousness experiments, you got fabulous results, but on overload.
Overload.
Only because you said, I want rain because we need rain in Texas, but you didn't say 3 inches.
And it never stopped.
Right. And so what you must do is bind down what you do not want. Well, I don't want flooding. I only want 3 inches. I want it spread over a couple of days. See, when you get specific, that's when you're not going to have the fallout. And when you're doing it in prayer, okay, you are sending out this energy collectively. When you are doing it specifically for yourself, your concentration is even more specific because it's you, and you can take on what's going on in the body. First, like I said, you acknowledge what is wrong, and then you work on removing it, dissolving it, and balancing it out.
All right, back to the phones we go. Barbara in Houston, Texas. Hello, Barbara. Go ahead.
Yes. First of all, I want to thank you and send just some peace and love out to so many people that are hurting, that have gone through tragedies, personal tragedies, bombings, fires, whatever. To lift them up and thank Coast to Coast for the opportunity to do that, and to thank you, both of you specifically, and your teams, because I know it's not just you two, it's multitudes of people around you that also lift you up to give us this inspiration and peace and hope every night for some of us.
Well, you're very welcome. Thank you.
And my situation is I've been disabled for quite a few years, and it basically happened because of medical mistakes. But I've never given up trying to overcome those and eventually get back to work, and in the meantime become as productive as I could. But it just seems like there's something kept happening. The most recent one, was release of benzene and toxic air release, which really knocked me down. I started coming back from that, and then my husband and I were at a hit and run accident last year. But the thing that's really frustrating is that I have apparently a neighbor or two that calls the city to complain because they don't like they don't like something, and so I've already been fined over $6,000.
Oh my God!
In a situation where I'm just not healthy, and I shouldn't even have been able to make an agreement for something like that I wasn't capable of even agreeing to. And now that somebody's complained again. And
what are they complaining about, Barb?
Well, they don't like me catching rainwater, for instance.
What?
It's just bizarre. It's the most bizarre. If you look at, for instance, the garden on the cable channels, and there's online sites where you can go and people look what we've done with our garden. Well, there's a lot of places where they take antiques. Like antique metal bed headboards.
Yeah.
And people use them, for plant trellises.
Yeah.
And they've told me I can't do anything like that.
You get fined for stuff like that?
Yes, it's just absolutely the most bizarre.
It is bizarre.
These are the types of things that's like, to me, it's so opposite. You want to be able to recycle like a used piece of plastic and use it for a plant pot, for instance.
You go out and catch rainwater, and your neighbors report you in?
Yes. It's just, and I think there's obviously some other things going on.
I was going to say, honey, they have a jealousy or they have something against you.
There's an agenda somewhere.
Right. There's some kind of agenda. It doesn't really, the excuse is inconsequential. Whatever they're calling and complaining about, it's just, oh, good, we got another excuse to... And, I think it has to do with...
What I would do is a boomerang.
Well, now, what's that?
Well, what I would do is I would take a picture of yourself, put it behind a mirror, meaning the mirror faces outward, and your picture faces the back part of the mirror. What that does is it puts a shield of protection around you, and any negativity that is being sent to you will be boomerang, repelled right back to the sender. Now, if that doesn't work, then you can also do a peace, love, and harmony ritual, which you would be using the colors of pink and their gender, in order for you to pacify them, to get them off your back, and to have more harmonious relationship.
Is there a ritual, Evelyn, for just about everything?
Yeah. Everything. No matter what
Barbara's
it is.
going to need it. She's going to need to do something, isn't she?
Yeah. Tell her to give me a call. I can explain it to her more. Or tell her to go on the website. There is a Peace, Love, and Harmony up there. And there is the Psychic Self-Defense. And in Mirror Magic, she can learn how to put her picture behind a mirror and put a shield of protection around you. It works.
All right, Barbara. MysticalBlend.com, or you go to Coast to Coast. We've got the link to Dr. Paglini's website. I know you don't teach people to do this, but do people do this? And that is, do they use magic? Do they use rituals to be offensive, to take advantage of other people, to hurt them, to do things? They do.
That's why I said most people in the past have gotten into it to subjugate, to intimidate, and to control. They want to use the forces and the energies and the vibrations in order to succeed in their agenda. They don't care if they're victimizing you.
Let's go to Cleveland, Ohio. Robbie's with us on Coast to Coast. Hey, Rob, go ahead.
Hi, George. Nice to talk to you. I love what you're doing and spreading all this consciousness towards the United States.
We are going to do the best we can, Rob.
Yeah, I'm 21. I'm a younger follower. I'm interested in all. I have a question for your guest.
Sure.
I was born in Macedonia in Europe, former Yugoslavia, and a lot of black magic is going on around there. It seems like the economy's bad, the people are bored, they're getting into these bad things. And we have a history of a lot of bad things happening in my family. My grandma's both of her parents died. Her husband died. She's having heart problems. My mom has heart problems. And we kind of have a suspicion that someone in our family back in the old country is placing these psychic attacks on us. And we had one of these guys who can see spirits come to our house. And he said that he could see a spirit watching us, and it follows us everywhere we go. So if your guest could have some psychic defense, maybe you can explain something for us.
All right, how do we do that? How do we create that defense again, Ev?
Okay, first of all, cleansing and protection of the environment, and that is the smudging. You can also go even more heavy duty by using sulfur on the outside, black salt on the inside. You can use a protection oil, a rosemary oil, or a rose geranium oil, and that also cleanses and removes all negativity and puts up a shield of protection. But your family needs psychic self-defense. You need to remove what's been placed on you, send it back to the sender, and put a shield of protection around you that is impenetrable.
Critical to do that. Critical.
Yes.
And how do you know when it's...
Go to the website, look up Psychic Self-Defense. You can buy these materials in any metaphysical store locally.
How do you know it's working?
Oh, you can feel it immediately, and after the ritual is done, usually between 48 and 72 hours, your luck starts to change. Like I said, your strength, your energy, your power, your determination, your clarity starts to come back. You cannot believe the difference. You didn't realize that you've been carrying this for so long, this load. And once it's removed, like I said, move over, world, I'm coming through.
We go to Fairbanks, Alaska now. Let us go to Kim. You're with Dr. Paglini. Go ahead, Kim.
Hi.
Hubby.
I heard Evelyn talking about her predictions with bad weather and all this in the future. Is she aware of how much that might be the cause caused by like geoengineering and all this chemtrails? And if there's any kind of magic or rituals that can be done to counteract those effects?
All right, Evelyn, if somebody, for example, is dumping chemicals in the air, chemtrails, through jets, through planes, can we as individuals fight that with a ritual or magic?
Very difficult. Very, very difficult. You'll get some response, but no. They have a hidden agenda, babe, and they've been doing it a long time, and it's very, very difficult to counterpat that because it's already been assigned. It's already in manifestation. All you can do is in your area, okay, try to put up a shield so that it does not breathe in, and you breathe in the toxins, and therefore some kind of a flu or disease manifests itself.
Good advice. Jefferson City, Missouri. Jennifer, first-time caller. Jennifer, hi.
Hello, how are you tonight?
Good.
So my question is, I'm a first-time caller indeed. I'm listening actually to KTRS because I don't have my terrestrial radio by my computer.
Okay.
And so my question is, have you ever worked with a blind Wiccan before?
Yes.
I am actually a blind Wiccan.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I decided to do it about 3 years back, and I find it hard. What are your tips for me as far as visualization? Because candle burning is, I don't play with fire. I don't feel like burning the house down.
Then you put the altar in your mind. You burn the candles and the colors in your mind. The workshop of the mind. It is the mind that is the most powerful thing, and it is your intent. What I don't like is when people say the devil made me do it. No, honey. Take responsibility for your actions, because the powers that I give you, nature and the elements that you tap into, are neutral. It is you who are the director. It is your intent that makes it either evil or good. And so use the workshop of the mind, honey. And you can burn all the candles you want in every color that you need.
So you don't think people can get possessed?
Oh, of course they can.
All right.
Oh,
How do they fight that? How do they fight that with some magic and a ritual? How do you fight something like that?
Again, that's that psychic self-defense. What you are doing is you are removing what has been placed upon you, accumulated and sent to you. Once that's done, then you're going to put an impenetrable shield of protection around you so that it doesn't come back. And I'll tell you, when you do psychic self-defense, if that person is still working on you, if that person is still using you for psychic attack, the first time that you do a repellent ritual, they're going to feel it, and they're going to get off your back.
So there's no reason why you can't fight back.
Oh, absolutely. That's what I'm here for. I fight evil, and I show you how.
I wouldn't want to cross you, Evelyn.
I'm there for the good, though, babe, but I will do offensive if it's necessary.
Providence, Rhode Island we go. Richard, take it away. Go ahead, Rich.
How you doing, George? I just want to say thank you for doing this show.
You're welcome.
Want to say thank you to your guests for putting the word out there about actually getting in touch with yourself and your conscience like that, because I'm actually a fellow Wiccan myself.
Good for you.
And, she was talking about how you can get a hold of your spirit guides. I have a certain way of getting a hold of my spirit guide, being a moon child. I actually I have a park I go to that's in my city. And, for instance, if you take a radio with batteries in it, brand new batteries, you put it on the ground, what happens? It drains the batteries.
Mm-hmm.
So you lay on the ground, it takes all that negative energy and everything out of you. I just wanted to say, I think this is great that you're doing this, and a lot of people need to be acknowledged about this. This isn't something that's new. I think it's been around for a long time, just people
they just don't understand.
Magic have been around for thousands of years, honey. It's just that you don't have to become a magi in order to get results. What I'm teaching is every man's magic. It's not where I want you to spend 10 or 20 years into learning ceremonial and ritualistic magic. This is the everyday magic that every person can utilize as a tool to get the edge on their future. And that's what I'm giving you. I'm putting the power in your hands. No one can take it from you.
Let's take one more call, maybe two. Let's go to Mary in Salt Lake City, Utah. Go ahead, Mary.
Hi. Evelyn,
Hi there.
I had a private reading with you about a year ago, and I just want to say that everything you say works. I did the candles. I was under psychic attack. I helped someone whose mother was abusing her grandchild, and I actually gave the mother a car to escape. And the grandmother got very angry, happened to be a school teacher. And after that happened, I started feeling much better because I knew she was psychically attacking me, and you and I agreed upon that. What happened afterwards was someone turned her in about 2 months after I finished all of my candles and everything else. And I didn't put a curse back on her at all, but someone turned her in for abusing a second grader, and everything went back upon her.
Good.
I didn't personally do that. Is that just the spirit?
That's the spirit. In other words, when you send out negativity, karma can come into play immediately, especially when you do a ritual.
It can bite you, can it? Yep. It can. When priests, for example, Evelyn, do exorcisms, are they protecting themselves?
Oh, they have to, of course. They're going to be challenged.
See, I'm amazed when you look at stuff like religion. I mean, they use holy water, so they have their own rituals themselves, don't they?
They use the essential oils. They use the holy water, and they do a form of ritual also.
Absolutely. Yep.
Every
they
religion
really
has the same thing. I don't care what you call it. When you're dealing with magic, there are basic foundations and rules. And so, therefore, when you're dealing with the elements, they have a force and a vibration that you can tap into and that you can use. You can use the element of fire to destroy your enemies.
No question. Evelyn, thank you so much for being on the program. Her website, mysticalblend.com. I'm George Norrie. When I return, open lines on Coast to Coast AM.